You're pissed off, you get to hit shit. It's kind of great.
I'm Gary Walsh. I'm part of Plethora. I do the vocals for this band and most of the lyrical songwriting, along with Mike here.
But he does most of it. I'll give him some ideas here. But yeah, I'm Mike Nasso, and I play the guitar in Plethora. Yeah.
I'm David. I'm the drummer of Plethora. Today we're recording one of the new tracks we wrote. For the first track that I've written with the guys now being a new member, so it's been exciting. It's been a lot of fun.
We're recording a new song with our new drummer. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. We went to school with Jason, and
Finished the song yesterday.
yeah, pretty much.
When you were getting into music, do you have any band or person who aspires you, to you would say you aim to be like, and has made you almost the musician that you are right now?
Totally.
I mean, yeah, there are some obvious influences, like growing up, I was a big fan of Metallica, Slayer, all the big metal bands, and now I love Lamb of God and Slipknot. It's kind of, those are like the obvious things, but I think we all have a lot of more inspirations than just metal bands. I think that's kind of the cool thing about Plethora is each musician has their different side projects and different influences that are completely not metal at all. And when we come together and work on stuff, I feel like we can come up with some unique sounds. And we have so many influences, not just in the metal genre. Even I find I'm inspired by guys that aren't musicians, like a lot of fighters, a lot of athletes I really look up to. I like the mentality of, a Green Bay Packer, waking up in the morning and getting on the field and working hard. I think a lot of metal, at least like from the past, kind of has a bit of a party reputation, but I just want to do this for the love of the music.
When growing up, I had a lot of influences. My biggest influence was Joey Jordison of Slipknot when he was still part of it. I think that enticed me a lot into metal, especially. I branched off a lot in the sense of I've kind of gone around and tried new genres and tried new affiliations. But I think Slipknot is definitely the biggest sort of influence to me in the sense of drums and how I approach heavier music. But I've had a lot of influences. Lamb of God. It's hard when you're on the spot to think of them, but Lamb of God, I would say, Slipknot for sure, Machine Head. Some even newer bands, like I've Fall of Troy, I really like those guys. Animals as Leaders, a lot more of the proggy things as well. Slayer, yeah, they've been in there. There's a lot of bands, especially in the genre, but I feel, yeah, their influences, I don't want to copy them per se, but I think it's good to draw attention from what they've brought to the genre. And I think it's fun to kind of experiment with different ideas that people bring forth. So I've had a lot of influence in that sense, of that genre. I mean, drummers as well. Some drummers that aren't even metal guys, like Benny Grab and Georgia Mayer come to mind. Tony Rosa Jr. These guys, like, I watched them growing up and I was astounded by how they play. So you try not to mimic them, but you want to kind of be at that level. It's hard to get to that level, but I'd like to be at that level. That's where I strive to be.
We all went to school together at Metalworks. It's an institute in Mississauga for music and recording, and it's owned by a couple of the guys from Triumph. It's fairly well known. It's awesome. But yeah, so we went there together. Like Mike and I played guitar in the program, and Dave played drums, and so we all had to learn a large variety of music, like a lot of different jazz and blues and different building blocks that amount to different sounds and different things we can bring to our music from outside of just the normal realm.
You know, we learned a lot from school, and we wouldn't be the players we are without it. But I feel like, if I'm being honest, I think some of the biggest inspiration and moments from our songs have come from like more like actual life events. You know, I might be feeling shitty about finances or something, and that's our inspiration to write a song. You know, and we go from there. And it's not always just about guys who inspired me, you know, like I think I have a lot of the same guitar heroes as a lot of people out there do, you know, like obviously, you know, got guys like Dimebag and Randy Rhoads, but, you know, also guys like Chet Atkins, and there's so many great guitar players out there, not just from metal, you know. Brad Paisley's a big inspiration, you know. I hear him play and it makes me want to pick up a guitar. It's not just metal stuff that inspires me, and you know, I find you know, like I love seeing a good champion in UFC. That really inspires me. You know, I love seeing GSP. You know, he's a Canadian guy and he carries himself so well. You know, my guitar teacher inspires me a lot. You know, not a lot of people might know who Rob Tardik is, but he's one of the best guitar players I've ever played with, and his knowledge of the fretboard is really good. I feel super lucky to be playing with him, and he's very inspirational, you know.
Mike is a very inspired individual.
I am, yeah.
When it comes to drumming, how much would you say you've put into it over the years?
So I started drumming when I was in the 4th grade. I remember primary school, we had to take an instrument. It was part of the curriculum, and everybody had to choose one. And I actually wanted to play guitar. That was my first instrument of choice. But my buddy beside me, my best friend, was telling me, hey, why don't you go play drums with me? Because then we can be in the same class together, and we can, you know, grow up doing that. So, and you know, it's kind of like a blessing in disguise, because going into the drumming world there, I've found a complete love for it, and you know, you're pissed off, you get to hit shit, you know. It's kind of great. So I just it's been something that, and you know, I think I gravitated really naturally to it. I just had this natural kind of feel for the drums, and I was really interested in like the technical side of it growing up, and I got them. My mother was so grateful and wanted me to do better, so she brought me to the guy and got some private lessons and got me going. She's still probably my biggest fan out there. She just she pushed me hard. She wanted me to really do well in it, and you know, it's such a love. I think when you finally find an instrument that you love, and it's something that you can, it's an extension of yourself, and it doesn't mean you have to be, you know, I don't think that there's any sense, there's technicality bad drummers, I guess you could say, but I don't think there's like an awful, terrible drummer, really. If you think of the guys who are out there, there's different ways of presenting yourself, and every instrument does that. You present yourself in the way that you want to be presented. So I just liked how I presented myself with the drums. So I've just been in love. It's been what now? Shit, like 14 years. And I still have a lot to learn. I'm not even at the level I want to be at, but it's fun. It's good. I love it. It's my babies.
I like this new song that we're doing. It combines a few elements, in my opinion. The beginning of the tune, like the main hook riff, it's a very thrashy riff, you know, a straight up more. When you hear it, it's the intro to the song, you're like, okay, this is a metal band. And it sounds very kind of almost traditional thrash, you know, with the fast double kick and just like a straight up kind of groovy, almost Metallica-esque riff. You know, I mean, a big part of what makes the metal genre what it is the lyrical content. You know, we're usually not singing about sunshine and rainbows, but
Sunshine, lollipops.
yeah. But I like a lot of our
I guess
lyrics.
we can touch a bit on that more lyric wise. So I do a lot of the main writing, and I like to think that I experience the world through sound, and there's a lot of different emotions that can be evoked through that. And you look at, there's all different types of musics for all different types of moods, and I try to kind of find things that I dislike, which is typical with a lot of metal. You know, you try to focus on them, not so much the negative, but the things that need to be called out, need to be changed. And with this song specifically, I've tried to get better at not being so cryptic, not censoring myself, so to speak, being more honest about just what's going on in lyrics. You shouldn't have to dig in and find out. You should be able to relate to something that I'm saying. I'm kind of trying to talk about, it's the idea around the conversation of mental health and the anxiety that comes up with trying to talk about it. Like, if I was to turn to you, and sorry to bring you into this, I know you're interviewing us, but, and ask you, you know, do you ever have panic attacks? Do you ever have trouble being happy? Like, do you ever think about suicide? Like, how uncomfortable, how heavy did it get in the room right now? You know, that's got to change. That's kind of where I'm at with trying to push this song.
Blinded by rage as you win again and again. Mind like a cage as you win again and again. Blinded by rage as you win again and again. Mind like a cage and I can't escape myself.
And see.
So writing this new one, it was cool in the sense that I got together with Mike. Basically, when I joined Plethora, I was meeting with Mike alone because we felt that it would be better that me and him sort of. I always feel with metal, but it's a strange thing for me, but I've always felt a lot of drums. Usually, drummers will want to be with the bass player first. Like the bass and the drummer have to be really, really tight knit, which they do, regardless of any genre. But for me, with metal, I follow the songs. I get a better imprint in my mind with the guitars because there's such an important aspect of the genre. So I met with Mike probably for 2 months, just learning their songs, just the older ones, and just getting those up to speed. And then when I was finally at a place that was, I'm comfortable, we thought, why don't we try write one? So this was that song. We wrote this. This is the first one we wrote together. So I feel this has some nostalgia. And the way we wanted to approach it, we just wanted to be heavy, like balls heavy, like giver, you know? Just don't hold back. Just, I think that's what the song's kind of about. Is like, who gives a shit? Like, just throw yourself at it. Like, oh, there's so much good stuff.
No, dude, that fill is gonna be like the highlight of most of the song
Just
for
your
me.
playing overall, like everything sounded fucking amazing.
I'm so tired.
Oh, dude, like those little hi-hat.
Final question. When you think about aspiring musicians who want to become better, who are learning and seeing indie bands like this and bigger bands, and they may not have the confidence to continue, do you have any words that you'd like to say to them that aspire back to how you felt growing up into this industry?
Fuck the dream, fuck the industry. Don't care about selling your shit. Don't care if anybody ever listens. Make it because you want to make it. Make it because you have to.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we're still a band in the fight too. It's not like we're a Metallica where I can give a bunch of life-changing advice to somebody. You know, I'm still only 27. Gary just turned 26. I'm still on the journey myself. You know, I try to be as honest as I can. Yeah, because I feel like the music that you make reflects your personality a bit. You know, I mean, with each musician, you can see a reflection of their personality in their playing. So not only do I want to be, you know, a good person, but, you know, the guitar is cool. it's like it's not always the most technical guy who's going to be the best. You know, a lot of guys consider Jimmy Page to be the best guitar player. You know, and that's just because there's nobody cooler on the planet than Jimmy Page playing a 59 with Led Zeppelin. You know,
Cool.
You know, I'm a huge fan of say like John Petrucci and Guthrie Govan, and I think they're two of the best guitar players in the world technically. But sometimes I just think they're like they're not Dimebag. You know, they don't have that coolness about them. You know what I mean? I'm not saying.
Well, it's all an attitude. I try to live by. Beethoven said, "Play a wrong note is nothing, but to play without passion is inexcusable."
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter what you play, it matters how you play it. It doesn't matter how you say something, it matters what you're saying.
That reminds me of what I was saying. My guitar teacher told me the other day, you know, like I was talking to him about coming into the studio and he was helping me out a bit and we were jamming together. And he said, you know, it's not what you play or how you play, it's why you play. What is the intention with this? Why are we in this studio? Am I just here to try and show off to somebody? No, I'm really not. I'm here because I'm a guitar player. This is who I am. I've been playing my whole life. You know, my father was a guitar player. You know, that's my father's guitar sitting right there. You know, this is my why.
Don't give up. Just don't give up. It's shitty, yeah. You'll go through loads of ups and downs. You just will. There's no way around it. And whether you gain success or not, that's a whole other topic. I could sit there and talk to you about hours on whether you can make it in the industry and if you're capable of doing it. But that's a whole other aspect. I feel people, if you ever feel discouraged about playing music and being part of a band or being in the industry and trying to make it there, there's not really a right or wrong way to approach it, but as long as you're happy doing it, be happy, don't give up. You're gonna hit rock bottom for sure, you're gonna hit downfalls, but it's how you pick yourself up from that and how you carry yourself. You don't need to be the next, you know, Buddy Rich on the drums. You don't need to be the next Kurt Hammett on guitar. You have to be you. I feel a lot with music and nowadays is a lot of people trying to be these people. They want to follow their steps. No, be you. Be yourself. When you're yourself, people will gravitate to that. It's something new. You don't need to be like the next Beyonce or Rihanna or Metallica or whatever genre. It doesn't matter. As long as you're you. I think that's what... I wish that was the advice someone told me in the beginning. Just be you. There's nothing I say. Don't give up. Be happy what you're doing. And just be you. I feel that that's the best way to make it through this industry. Sane, at least.
This is just what I love, you know. I wouldn't be doing anything else. As much as I would love to be like a UFC champion or a boxing champion, I think this is what I'm meant to do, and this is what I was put here to do, is play guitar.
For me, at the end of the day, it's got to be an obsession. I could be homeless, living in my car, no money. I'd still be doing the same thing, not make a cent. Don't know if there is a why, but you just gotta do it. You gotta feel it. You gotta. It's too hard. You gotta love it, otherwise it won't work.
Yeah.
I can't